Okay, let's get into this one right here. Bill Russell is not a top 10 player, folks. No. Bill Russell is not a top 10 player. This is part 2 of a 4-part series, and we might have 5. But this is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, you're missing out on a lot. Go watch part 1. We're not going to do, a lot of politics in this up front. We're just going to go ahead and get to the numbers, get to the accolades, and get down to the facts. Part 1, it was, about 25 minutes before we really got into the numbers, got into the accolades, and got into the facts, because we was just trying to lay the storyline. That's about it. But once we got past the storyline in the introduction, it was dumbfounding how much help Bill Russell had from 1957 all the way until 69. And what did that prove? It proved not only what is 1960 Celtics, the greatest team of all time, but it proved that they were double what the second greatest team of all time was. They were double that good. So it don't matter if you want to put the 80s Celtics, the 80s Lakers, the 90s Bulls, the 2000 Spurs, the Kobe's three-peat Lakers, well, whoever you want to put, the Boston dynasty of the 60s was double that. We're not going to go into that, but just to give you some background, if you want to go watch it, the Celtics from 57 all the way until 69 had 29 All-NBA members. That's not even the All-Stars, folks, because those guys were also All-Stars too. In comparison, from 60 to I think 65, Wilt played with no All-NBA members. The Celtics had 14 on their team in that time period. From 60 to 65, 14 All-NBA members. And Wilt's team had, Wilt played with none except for himself. So what would that be, like 6? It was staggering. And I think in that time period from 1960 to 69, when him and Russell played on the same court or in the league together, the Celtics had, The Celtics had 25 All-NBA members just from 60 to 69. And Wilt Chamberlain's team, including him, had 7, folks. 7. Not only that, we went over a whole bunch of stuff. It was just insane, nuts. So if you didn't see part 1, I'm just putting these in parts so people, will realize what I'm talking about. I put it in a whole video before, and YouTube pulled it down. So we're just gonna do parts. So if you want to, send a part to your buddy or somebody, or share it with them, there you go. You got the parts. So it's just insane as that was. We're gonna get into the MVPs, because the first video was about help, and I'm still blown away over this, because you have people like Jim at NBA Fact Self Research or something like that. He has Bill Russell at number 2 after all that help that I just told you. We didn't even go over all. Right now we didn't go. It's on the other video, part 1. But go look at all the Hall of Famers and all the top 75 guys he played with. It's incredible. We didn't even count some of the guys who made the Hall of Fame, who was just on the team, who got put in the Hall of Fame for being on the team. I didn't put them on there, on that video, because whatever. I'm talking about real great players. But go watch that video. It's an embarrassment of riches that Bill Russell had. But if you want to check out that video, go check it out. You might not understand this video if you don't go check out that video, even though this is a lot the same, because we just don't talk about his numbers. We're going to talk about, again, the All-Stars he played with in the All-NBAs, and guys in the top 10 MVP running in the years that Bill Russell won the MVP, or he was in the top 3. Well, from 61 to 65. That's what we're going to do. And again, if you didn't see part 1, this all came about from people pissing on Wilt. This is a thing where they praise Michael Jordan for winning with less. And we always say that's cool. It's fine. I watched every Michael Jordan game, big Bulls fan since like 87, 88. But at the same time, Bill Russell won with the most help. And people don't say that about him. We'll get into some of the politics if you guys didn't see one. So 1961, Bill Russell wins the MVP. 35 first place votes. And we have Bob Pettit, 14 place votes. 2. Number 3, Elgin Baylor, only 10 first place votes. Will Chamberlain, only 3 first place votes. And Oscar Robertson, 7 first place votes. Keep that in mind. And we'll talk about later on the players voting on this. Because a lot of people, oh no, the players voted on it. Okay. What does that really mean? Okay, we've been told it means, oh, they respected Bill Russell and the players like Bill Russell. But as we go through this, let me remind you of, what does MVP really mean? Is it you're the best player in the league? Or you're the most valuable to your team? Now, the best player in the league speaks for itself. You was the best player in the league that year. You put up crazy stats or whatever like that. Most valuable to your team means the team could not have been where they was without you. That's what MVP really means, right? Most valuable player or not? See, they keep moving the goalpost. They gave it the Magic Johnson, loaded team. Larry Bird, loaded team. All those years, loaded team, bro. And then they'll say, because they'll say, oh, then they get to Michael Jordan. Oh, the Bulls could not have been, there without him. Or he was the best player in the league. They moved the goalpost so much. So let's get into this. Bill Russell, 16.9 points per game, rebounds 23.9, assists 3.4, field goal percentage 42.6. So on the Boston Celtics, they had 3 All-NBA players on the team and 3 All-Stars on the team in 1961. If you didn't see that video, part 1, go look at it. It's going to blow your mind. And this is more of the same. 3 Celtics in the top 10 MVP voting. Bob Pettit, 27.9 points per game, rebounds 20.3, assists 3.4, field goal percentage 44.2. On his team, 1 All-NBA player, that would be him. 3 All-Stars and 1 player on his team in the top 10 MVP voting, that will be him. Elgin Baylor, points per game, 34.8, rebounds per game, 19.8, assists per game, 5.1, field goal percentage, 43%. On the Lakers team, they have 1 All-NBA member, 3 All-Stars, and 1 Laker in the top 10 MVP voting. Will Chamberlain, points per game, 38.4, rebounds, 27.2, assists, 1.9, field goal percentage, 50.9. On his team, 1 All-NBA member, him. 3 All-Stars, including him. Not 4, 3. Just like Bill Russell, when we say All-NBA, he was All-NBA, so it was 2 All-NBA teammates, 3 All-Stars, or 2 All-Stars, but 3 with him. And on his team, 1 guy in the top 10 MVP voting, that would be Will Chamberlain. And you have Oscar Robertson, points per game, 30.5, rebounds, 10.1, assists, 9.7, field goal percentage, 47.3. And you have All-NBA on his team, 1 guy, 2 All-Stars on his team, 1 player in the top 10 for MVP. And that would be him. And he will be the only All-NBA member. So this is concerning for me right here. So supposedly, as we get to 62, 63, 64, 65, as we will see, let's stay on 61 real quick. Bill Russell, as a center, shot 42.6%. How's that possible, folks? Somebody told me that the league average back then, and I can believe it, whatever. And we got to say what year it was, because they did have different league field goal averages, but they said the league average back then for field goal percentage was 44% to try to cover up for Bill Russell. And I said, bro, that's the league average. Bill Russell is a center. He shouldn't be shooting 44% or 42% or 44%. Only the perimeter players, I could understand, okay, if that's the league average, they should be shooting around there. 45, 44. The center shouldn't be shooting like that. Even if they're not shooting 50, they should be shooting at least 47. But Bill Russell's career average was 44% from the field. On here, it's 42.6. Before we even move on, let's understand this. This was the fastest paced era of all time. And with that, the most inflated stat happy era of all time. Because the pace. And it's okay, it's crazy because they were playing defense. I'm not that you can watch the games, ain't like they were like today. And they were playing positional basketball. But the concerning thing with this is you can see, Bob Pettit, Elgin Baylor, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, as we will continue to see all their stats, their points per game, is inflated. Inflated. Okay? So you're trying to tell me Bill Russell's 16.9 points per game is inflated? Before we move on, just for example, I've already did this. If we go back to the 90s, you can put it in a, chat GPT, whatever you want to put it in. I did it. Bill Russell, basically in these MVP years, if you take inflation and you roll it back to the 90s, and I did, we got different times in the 90s, whether it's in the early 90s or the mid second half of the 90s, right? A little bit faster era in the beginning of the 90s, in the dead ball era, going into the dead ball era in the, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. So whatever era you want to go to, put in Bill Russell's numbers, and I did, his MVP years, and basically his whole career. But when you do the pace of play, and you put in the 60s, and you put it in the 90s, he only averages 11 to 13 points per game, folks. And his rebounds go to 13 to 15. Now, granted, Wilt Chamberlain's rebounds are going to go down too. No doubt about that. But his scoring ain't going to fall massively like that. There's a problem when these other guys are able to score all this. And for their position, Elgin Baylor, he's a wing player. He will still get decent rebounds. So we can't say because his rebounds will go down too, it would look bad for him. Or his points. Or Jerry West, or Wilt Chamberlain, or Bob Pettit. The only guy on here will be Bill Russell. Let's just keep that in mind as we go on. Not only that, Bill Russell was averaging way less attempts than these guys. So even with the little attempts he was averaging, he was bricking it up, is what I'm trying to say. Because people will tell me he wasn't asked to score. That's fine. But if you're only taking 12 shots and you can't even hit 50% and you're under the rim, don't sit there and try to tell me that Bill Russell could score but was asked not to. No, he couldn't. So 62, he did go up on his points. And let me go back to 61 real quick before we jump into that. A lot of people are going to talk about what place he was in. Oh, they was in first place. Oh, we went over that video yesterday. They was in first place from 57 all the way until 67, having a first round bye and only having to play one series before going to the finals for like 9 years. In those years, the Celtics had 3 All-NBA players, plus some years an All-Star onto that. So yeah, that's where you debunk that with when somebody said, "Oh man, he was in first place." Look what he had on his team, folks. Look to the right, where it says All NBAs players, in All-Stars, and guys in the top 10 Celtics. You can't have it both ways. You can't say he can't be the most valuable with all that help on the team. That doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm saying. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say he made those guys better? Because when he came into the league, he had two guys, if you go watch the first video, who were all NBA first team. And he was playing with the greatest point guard of all time until Magic Johnson came in. If you go look at Bob Cousy's accolades. So you can't say that he was the most valuable player to his team if his team was loaded over all these other guys. And you can't say he was the best player in the league. Look at these numbers from all these other guys. 62. Let's go. Bill Russell wins it again with 52 first place total first place votes. Wilt Chamberlain comes in second with 9. I guess he won because he had the more total, Wilt Chamberlain did, but only 9 first place votes, folks. Oscar Robertson, 13 first place votes. Elgin Baylor, 3. Jerry West, 6. So let's get into this. We got Bill Russell, 8 points per game, 18.9. Rebounds, 23.6. Assists, 4.5. Field goal percentage, 45.7. He did bring it up. On the Celtics, that year, 3 All-NBA players, 4 All-Stars, and 2 Celtics in the top 10 MVP voting. Wilt Chamberlain, 50.4 points per game, rebounds 25.7, assists 2.4, field goal percentage 50.6. On his team, 1 All-NBA, which would be him, 3 All-Stars, 1 guy in the top 10 in MVP voting, that would be him. Oscar Robertson, points per game 30.8. Rebounds, 12.5. Assists, 11.4. Field goal percentage, 47.8. On this team, 2 All-NBA, 3 All-Stars, 1 guy in the top 10 MVP voting. That would be him. Elgin Baylor, 38.3 points per game, 18.6 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 42.8 field goal percentage. On this team, 2 All-NBA, 3 All-Star, 2 Lakers in the top 10 in MVP voting. Jerry West, his teammate. Points per game, 30.8, 1.9 rebounds per game. No, 7.9 rebounds per game. Assists, 5.4. Field goal percentage, 44.5. And 2 All-NBA, 3 All-Stars on that team. And 2 Lakers in the top 10 for MVP. And you already know who that is. Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. So I don't know, guys. It's looks like more of the same. Boston Celtics stacked team. Oh, I get it, right? You're going to tell me that Bill Russell, his defense, right? His defense and rebounding. So what about Wilt Chamberlain? He out rebounded him. And you know, Wilt Chamberlain's a better defender. You don't believe me? Stay with this series. We're going to bring you to the video footage of the play-by-play guy saying that Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest defender they ever seen and the greatest rebounder they ever seen while he was playing Bill Russell. One of these plays, Wilt Chamberlain went up to dunk on Bill Russell at the rim. Bill Russell blocked this shot. And as Bill Russell's hand was on the ball, one side of the ball, Wilt Chamberlain's hand was on the other side of the ball. And Wilt Chamberlain stuffed it in the rim on him. I can't wait until we get down the road and we can get into the Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell comparison, all this jazzy stuff. We've been hearing how he shut Wilt down and how he did this and how he did that. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. So yeah, I'm just gassed. How did he win this MVP? He had on that team, it was 3 All-NBA members, or you can say he had 2 All-NBA teammates. But on the Celtics, it was 3 All-NBA players, and he had 3 All-Star teammates, and it was 4 All-Stars on that team, and 2 players were in the MVP voting. And when we look at his numbers, what did that warrants that? Don't tell me his rebounds. I mean, these perimeter players are putting up crazy rebounds too. Look at Oscar Robertson, 12 rebounds and 11 assists on 30 points per game. Elgin Baylor, 18 rebounds. What are we talking about? On 38 points. Jerry West, 30 points, 8 rebounds. What are we talking about? So they vote. I can't wait until to get to the vote thing later on. So they voted him in for what? So you're going to tell me again because he was that was the number one team? Go back and look at video one. Not only what you're seeing on the right, how much help they had, you're actually going to see how much help they really had versus these guys right here. If you're not starting to catch on, if you saw video one or you're just now seeing this, Elgin Baylor and Jerry West played on the same team. And they still got their ass beat. You think Bill Russell was beating both of them by rebounding? No, those teams were stacked. Go watch video one, folks. See, this is why a lot of people, they want to say Bill Russell has 11 championships as we go into 1963. Bill Russell came at the right time. Not that Bill Russell didn't contribute to the 11 championships. We're not here to say Bill Russell was trash. You know, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. Bill Russell was all-time great. He played his he played his role on the team. But as we see, and we'll see in all these parts, that's all Bill Russell did. They're trying to make him seem like he was above and beyond that whole team. Because he was there for, remember, who is it? Tom Heinz? Is it Tom Heinsohn? Bob Cousy was already in the league like 6 years before Bill Russell came in. And they won 7 championships together. Bill Shaman was already in the league, just like Bob Cousy, like 6 years before Bill Russell came in. So by the time they retired in the mid-60s, Bill Russell was still in his prime. So that's what I'm saying. Bill Russell came at the right time, and they were just adding pieces, Sam Jones and, Havlicek and all these guys that came to the team. If you watch KC Jones, if you watch my first video. And in this video, we're not here to say Bill Russell did anything wrong, or he cheated, or he didn't deserve any of these championships. We're not here to say that, folks. You never heard me say that one time. But I can tell you, he didn't deserve all these MVPs as we continue. So in 63, he got 56 first place votes, the most. Elgin Baylor, he got 19. I think Oscar Robertson got 19. Bob Pettit got 3. Who is this? Jerry West got 2. Wilt Chamberlain wasn't even in the top 5. And I think this is the year they missed the they missed the playoffs. But if I ain't mistaken, this year, Wilt Chamberlain again didn't have no All-NBA members on his teammates. Again, 64, he had none. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Go watch the other video. Nevertheless, Bill Russell won the MVP again. And this is his 4th because he won one in the year before Wilt Chamberlain came in. Remember, Bob Cousy won it Bill Russell's rookie year in 57. And Tom Heinsohn was the rookie of the year. Man, y'all got to stop. So 58, 57, 58, Bob Cousy won the MVP. The next year, 58, 59, Russell wins the MVP. So anyway, this is number 4 for Bill Russell in 3 in a row. This year, 16.8 points per game, rebounds 23.7, assists 4.5, field goal percentage 43.2, 3 All-NBA members on the Celtics, and you have 3 All-Stars. 3 Celtics were in the top 10 for MVP voting. This is crazy. Elgin Baylor, 34 points per game. Rebounds, 14.3. Assists, 4.8. Field goal percentage, I think it's 45.3. On this team, two All-NBA members, 3 All-Stars, 2 Lakers, top 10 MVP voting. Oscar Robertson, third place. Points per game, 28.3. Rebounds, 10.4. Assists, 9.5. Field goal percentage, 51.8. These guys killing it from the outside. This guy's shooting a brick fest from under the rim. 1 All-NBA player on his team, which would be him. 3 All-Stars. 1 guy in the top 10 MVP voting on this team. That would be him. Bob Pettit, 28.4 points per game. Rebounds, 15.1. Assists, 3.1. Field goal percentage, 44.6. 2 All-NBA on his team. 2 All-Stars. And when I say 2 All-Stars, that's including him. That doesn't mean he played with 2 All-Stars. It's including him. That's why I say on the Hawks team. On his team, 1 guy in the top 10 MVP voting, that would be him. And Jerry West. What is this 27? No, yeah, 27.1 points per game, rebounds 7, assists 5.6, field goal percentage 46.1 on his team. 2 All-NBA, that's him and Elgin Baylor. 3 All-Stars, and 2 Lakers in the top 10 MVP voting, that would be him and Elgin Baylor. And then you have Wilt Chamberlain, who came in 7th. Points per game, 44.8. Rebounds, 24.3. And assist, 3.4. Field goal percentage, 52.8. That's weird. So I'm starting to get that people didn't like Wilt Chamberlain. And we went over that in the first video. That people didn't like Wilt Chamberlain. And we'll kind of prove that later. But Wilt Chamberlain didn't even have to win this year. The fact that Bill Russell won this year, they have no excuse for Bill Russell to be winning this. We just went over this. And we went over this yesterday too, as we go into 1964, that all these guys on here are either two-way players or all-around players, right? As far as, we can say all-around means, stats. Bill Russell can't do that. Points, assists, rebounds, he can't do that. That's all-around player, like we would say a Magic Johnson or, something like that. Because if you say, oh yeah, I remember Magic averaged 18 this game or this year. No, this is inflated era, folks. Magic Johnson numbers would be like almost 30 points per game or more if we did inflation. And his rebounds would be more. And his assists would just be off the chain. How's Bill Russell winning these MVPs? And that's 3 in a row. And what is this? 4 out of 5 years? 64. Oscar Robertson wins it. He has the most votes with 60, or most first place votes. Wilt Chamberlain second with 19 first place votes. Bill Russell only 11 votes. And Bob Pettit 4 first place. Jerry West 2 first place. So now they can't make up their mind because Bill Russell basically putting up the same numbers, winning MVPs. They were in first place again. They had 3 All-NBA members, 3 All-Stars, 2 in the top 2, 3 All-Stars, 3 All-NBA members, 2 Celtics in the top 10 MVP. So what's the problem with Bill Russell winning it? Again. So you got Oscar Robertson, 31.4 points per game, rebounds 9.9, assists 11, field goal percentage 48.3. On his team, 2 All-NBA, 3 All-Star, 3 Royals, Cincinnati Royals in the top 10 MVP race. Oh, so is that it? You need a whole bunch of guys in the MVP race to win? That makes you valuable to your So Wilt Chamberlain came in second, 36.9 points per game, rebounds 22.3 a game, assists 5, field goal percentage 52.4, 1 All-NBA member, that would be him, 2 All-Stars on his team, 1 Warrior in the top 10 MVP voting, that would be him. Bill Russell, 15 points per game, rebounds 24.7, assists 4.7, field goal percentage 43.3. We already went over this. On the team, 3 All-NBA, 3 All-Star, 2 Celtics in the top 10. Bob Pettit, 27.4 points per game, rebounds, 15.3 assists, 3.2, field goal percentage, 42.6. On his team, 1 All-NBA, 2 All-Stars, 1 guy, that would be him, in the top 10 MVP voting, Jerry West. Points per game, 28.7, rebounds, 6.66, assists, 5.6, field goal percentage, 48.4. On this team, 2 All-NBA, 2 All-Stars, 2 Lakers in the top 10 MVP voting. So, of course, Wilt Chamberlain shouldn't get it this year, right, over Oscar Robertson? Wow. I'm getting a feeling they don't like this guy. Don't we all remember Wilt Chamberlain's rookie year? We know he put up, what was it, like 38 points per game? It was just crazy what he put up, 38, some 20-something rebounds a game. Blah, blah. It's the same stuff he's putting up in these years also. But he couldn't get the MVP in none of these years, as we will see. So whatever your excuse is for Wilt Chamberlain not winning MVP in 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, give me the reason why he won the MVP, putting up the same numbers, playing the same way, having no help on his team, but won the MVP in 1960. So before we talk about 65, what does MVP mean again? Is it the most valuable to your team? And if you're the most valuable to your team, what does that mean? Is it mean, because I done heard people say, oh, if they didn't have him, it won't go nowhere. And that's right if you don't have nobody on your team. The Boston Celtics are the most loaded team in NBA history from 1957 all the way till 69. It never changed, folks. It never changed, and it never slowed down. Go look at part 1. You can see it right now. If you add up just these years that he won the MVP, Bill Russell. Or is it the best player in the league? It can't be that, because he can't be the best player in the league. He's only playing one side of the ball. All these other guys are, all around and playing in two-way players. You're telling me the best in the league is rebounding and playing defense? You're trying to tell me these guys don't play defense and rebound? Well, what are we talking about, man? 65, he wins the MVP. Bill Russell. His numbers are similar to 64. I don't know why he didn't win it then. I didn't know why he didn't win it again then. He was first place in the division. They had another first round. This is the problem with this buddy voting system. A lot of people are trying to say now it was better when the players voted. Does it look like it? Or they voted based on who they like? So, Bill Russell, most first place votes with 53. Now they want to do total for some reason. He had 53. Oscar Robertson second place with 21. Jerry West with 20. Sam Jones with 4. And Wilt Chamberlain with 0. Wow. Bill Russell, points per game, 14. Is this 1 or 7? 14.1 points per game. Rebounds, 24.1. Assists, 5.3. Field goal percentage, 43.8. 2 All-NBA members on the Celtics, 3 All-Stars, 2 guys in the top 10 MVP voting. Oscar Robertson second, 30.4 points per game. Rebounds, 9. Assists, 11.5. Field goal percentage, 48%. 2 All-NBA members on his team, including him. Don't get that mixed up. All-Stars, it was 3, including him. All together. Don't get that mixed up. And 1 guy in the top 10 MVP voting, and that would be him. Jerry West, 31 points per game. Rebound, 6.0. Assists, 4.9. Field goal percentage, 41.3. In on his team, 2 All-NBA members, 2 All-Stars, 2 Lakers in the top 10 MVP voting. You got Sam Jones here, 25.9 points per game. 5.1 rebounds, 2.8 assists on 45.2 from the field. 2 All-NBA members, 2 All-Stars, 2 Celtics, top 10. I don't know why it says 1. Because you can see 2 right here on the top 5. And then you have I guess for shits and giggles, right? Wilt Chamberlain, last at 5, 34.7 points per game, 22.9 rebounds, 3.4 assists, field goal percentage 51. 2 All-NBA members on his team. Finally, that's the first time he played with an All-NBA guy. It took him till 65, guys. Bill Russell had already played with 14. 14. No. Hold on. Was it 14? Well, it was 14 on the Boston Celtics by the time Wilt Chamberlain played with his first. So if you just want to say him playing with teammates, excluding him, so that would be 2, 4, 6, 8. 9. I think that's 9. 9 times he played with an All-NBA member or a teammate before, from 1960 until 65 before Wilt played with his first. 2, 4, 6, 8. No. 9, 10. It's 10. 10. Bill Russell played with 10 since Wilt Chamberlain had came in the league in 1959-60. Bill Russell played with 10 teammates before Wilt Chamberlain played with 1. That's why I said I don't know why nobody's never exposed this. And so let's continue. So yeah, Wilt points per game 34.7, rebounds 22.9, assists 3.4, field goal percentage 51, 2 All-NBA members, 2 All-Stars, and I think I put 1.5 top 10 MVP voting on his team because he only played with that guy a half season. So 1 would be him, and then the other half would be that guy he played with half the year because he went to another team. So I'm just wondering, can somebody tell me how Bill Russell was able to win all them MVPs? We didn't put 59 up there. I just want to do it against, at first I was just going to do him and Wilt Chamberlain. I said, why just do him and Wilt Chamberlain when we could do the overall scope? We can look at the overall picture of all these guys, right? Why just single Wilt Chamberlain out? Because if we did that, it was going to be, people would be talking about a pity party. Oh man, you just feel sorry for Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt wasn't doing this, and well, okay, we got the whole overall picture now. What were these guys doing wrong? They were scoring a lot of points. They were getting a lot of rebounds for their position. They were getting a lot of assists for their position, and they were shooting great with less help. Even Jerry West and Elgin Baylor played on the same team. They still had less help than Russell. When you look at the All-Stars, the All-NBAs, and we're not even talking about the defensive members, folks. We talked about that yesterday. If it was all defensive teams back then, the Celtics would have brought at least 4 guys every single year. And it's only 2 defensive teams, so that's 10 players. So they would have had 4. Just like on the All-NBAs, they were having 3 all those years out of 10. And they could have had more, just like they could have had more All-Stars, but the league was trying to be nice. They're trying to show some love. So let's check this out. The idea that the NBA hated Wilt Chamberlain is a mischaracterization, but he was a polarizing figure who received significant criticism due to his dominance. Individual statistics, that goes together, due to his dominance, individual statistics, in a perceived lack of winning compared to rival Bill Russell. Remember yesterday on part 1, we read this initially, and I said, keep that in mind. What do you mean keep in mind? In perceived lack of winning compared to rival Bill Russell. How can you win with no help? How can you win with no help? They say Michael Jordan didn't have no help. Bill Russell had triple the help in his entire career, year after year, than what Wilt Chamberlain had. So what about Jerry West and Elgin Baylor when they kept losing? What about Oscar Robertson? Are they in the same boat with Wilt Chamberlain? So a lot of people like to say that Wilt Chamberlain it got knocked because he putting up all these points. He wasn't no team player. So these other guys, they was putting up astronomical points too for their position. So they were ball hogs. They didn't want to win. So you're not supposed to score and put up points if you can do it. But yet Bill Russell, like we said from the beginning, he couldn't even hit on close to 50% for his career for the little bit of amount of shots he took. So it's easy to play more of a team game. Well, your team is way better. You can spread the love around when you're playing with all those great players. And if you want to see how great they was, go watch part 1. We detailed all the guys. And it reads on. This led to media-driven narrative that portrayed him as selfish. We just talked about that. And the league reacted by changing rules to limit his advantages. Did they just say that? Let's read that without stopping. The idea that the NBA hated Wilt Chamberlain is a mischaracterization, but he was a polarizing figure which received significant criticism due to his dominance, individual statistics, and a perceived lack of winning compared to Bill Russell. This led to a media-driven narrative to portray him as selfish. Yeah, the media, folks, the media. And the league reacted. Now the league. First it was the media. Now it's the league. So he's going against the league in the media. And watch what it says at the end. And the league reacted by changing rules to limit his advantages. So he was selfish. He didn't care about winning. So he was no threat. So why would you limit him from having skills? Why would you limit him from playing this game? Why would you limit him? That doesn't make any sense. The whole thing makes zero sense. So basically they didn't want him to win. Bill Russell's teams were stacked to the ceiling. They saw this game was easy for him. They didn't like him. So the media start putting all kind of crazy stuff in the headlines in the media or whatever. And then the league reacted and changed the game. We already know. We don't have to sit here and say what they did. But we all know they changed. They didn't change it for Bill Russell to limit his advantages. Did they limit Bill Russell's advantages when he was winning all these? Oh, he winning too many MVPs, man. Winning too many championships. We got to limit Bill Russell's advantages. Wilt Chamberlain wasn't winning championships. Hell, he hadn't even won one until 67. What advantages did he have? So look, guys, I'm gonna just give it to you raw. These are my last videos, anyways, on social media about the NBA. Anyways, the NBA is fixed. The NBA is over. It don't matter who don't like this. This whole notion of the players voting. First of all, I want that many players back then. Second of all, this is, as we read this, if you want to believe that the players put a name in the hat. And at the end of the day, the NBA counted all the names. and all these players voted Bill Russell was good for you. Just like you might think your vote counts for other things, okay? We won't even get into that. But let's get into the fact that Bill Russell was awarded these MVPs based on his civil rights, for him being a civil rights boy, okay? And Wilt Chamberlain was the opposite. Wilt Chamberlain he went against civil rights, and he gave money to the civil rights movement, and he agreed with it, but he didn't go out up front and put his face to it, because he was with what Malcolm X was about: black empowerment, black people keep doing for themselves. Because the fact is, they try to act like now what was going on in the South and Jim Crow and black people not having nothing, mostly down there, was going on all across the United States, which was not the case. Black people, if you heard of Black Wall Street, that was going on all over the place. In the East, the West. It was only limited in the South. It's crazy, dog. It was only limited in the South because of Jim Crow. And what was Jim Crow? Jim Crow was a law, fake law, that if you didn't register your land with the state, the county, the city, whatever it was, you could not vote. You couldn't own a business. So many black people, when Jim Crow hit after slavery, which they're still yet to explain how black people owned millions of acres of land during slavery in Louisiana, Georgia, Texas, Florida, Alabama, all these southern states, North Carolina, South Carolina, how they own millions and millions of acres of land during slavery. Once slavery was over, okay, the North won. And slavery ain't what you guys think. That's why my next channel is coming out. Slavery was a lie, the way it was taught. And it wasn't a lie, but the way it was taught. Okay, so yes, the North won the battle. Abraham Lincoln got shot, and the story is that these racist people down south took over. And they did. But the problem was, why are you asking just some slaves that just came out of slavery, millions of them, to register their land? What land are you talking about? Yep. Caught dead in the crossfire. And Jim Crow was also for poor whites. Nevertheless, it ain't like millions of people didn't register the land in the South. Well, I won't say millions, but it was a lot of black people that registered the land in the South in their own business, and they was able to vote. But the majority didn't. Because the majority of the black people said, kiss my ass. I'm not doing it, because if you register, guess what? Now they can tax it. So that's why up until the Civil Rights Act bill, they were unable to vote, a lot of blacks in the South. But the Civil Rights Act bill, thanks to Martin Luther King, registered all black people's land away to get taxed. And they own very little land to this day. They either fell back on the taxes, or they ran up out of the South, like my family did, because of the KKK. But back then, a lot of black people couldn't vote, because when they came out with Jim Crow, they told them, hey, I'm not registering my land. I'm good. But not only did you have to register your land, you had to send your kids to their school, everything. And black people back then weren't having it. What these fools is trying to tell you is a whole different half-true story today. And you have a lot of Negroes coming from other countries, trying to tell my history of my people from the South. They come from Jamaica, Haiti, Barbados, and I love them people. I love their country, I love their culture, but they'll come over here and try to push the Reconstruction era history. And that's why they wanted my people from the South to start going to their schools, at least the children, so they could start another history. And that's basically what they did. But anyways, I was just saying that in connection with the Wilt Chamberlain thing, because Wilt wanted, what Malcolm X wanted. He wanted, black empowerment, black business, black that. He didn't want to integrate. He didn't think it was right, as many black people did back then in the North, in the West, to integrate, because they would lose all their businesses. And that's what happened when integration hit. Black people lost all their business. Before integration, black people had their own schools, their own tire shops, their own clothes shops, their own basket weaving, anything you own, shoe shops, anything you can name. Black people had it in their towns with each other. That's why we try to tell you, Black Wall Street wasn't just in Oklahoma. It was everywhere. It was in California. Of course, it was in Oklahoma. It was in a lot of places. Illinois, North Carolina, Florida. That's what it was. All integration meant was, yes, they gave black people a whole bunch of programs, but that programs started applying to all minorities. And in this country, back then in the 60s, and before, this country was like 99% black people, Negroes, and whites, hillbillies, and rednecks. But once they got wind of these minority programs, they start flooding in from all these countries. From Latin America, from the Caribbean, from Asia, from India, to get these minority loans from the government that you ain't got to pay back hundreds of thousands. And then they start setting up shop in the black neighborhoods. Yeah. And this is what you got today. From 1970 until today, black people have been behind all other minorities, all other nationalities in this country. Because of integration. And this was something that, Will Chamberlain got penalized for, because he didn't want to go along with the get along game with, the Martin Luther King, all these sports players that was going around for it. The Muhammad Ali's, the what's this guy's name? The football player who played for the Browns. Even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's father was a big Pan-African. He's the one that started with Marcus Garvey the Pan-African nation. I mean, they got a flag of no country, folks. Africa is a continent with countries. It's almost like having South America, right? And you have one flag for South America. How goofy would that look? You won't have a flag for Brazil or, none of these countries down there. It's just one flag. That's the African Union flag. It's goofy. That's not a country. African American ain't a country, folks. But, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, his father, started the African nation with Marcus Garvey, who stole all black people's money and got kicked out of the United States. So I don't even know why they, celebrate Marcus Garvey, because he stole all black people's money back then. Talking about building a steamboat, going back to Africa, and never did it. And then got kicked out of the United States, actually got put in jail. And black people hated him, black Americans. It didn't, until like the 1980s or something like that, Marcus Garvey resurfaced as a hero after nobody liked him. From the 40s all the way until the 1970s. That's crazy. Anyway. So yeah, but Will Chamberlain basically got hated, penalized, and everything for not going with the get along game, for not going with the civil rights movement. And you can see it didn't work out. Not for black people, it worked out for all these other minorities that wasn't here at the time, but it damn sure didn't work out for so-called African Americans. They continue to get gentrified off the planet. But back to this Will thing, man. He just, he got penalized. Not for not wanting to. If you have help on your team, yes, he had all-stars or whatever, but they're not top players in the league, folks. You had guys on the Celtics not even making all NBA that were better than his all-stars. In the notion that he was choking, those videos are coming up. That's a lie. He dominated Bill Russell. Whether it's the regular season, the playoffs, the finals, he dominated Bill Russell. That's all I'm trying to say. So, to me, Bill Russell, he shouldn't have won all these MVPs, if any. And I'm not just trying to say because of Wilt Chamberlain. I'm talking about all these guys. But we already know he was in good with the NBA. And again, if you think that it was because of voting, good for you. I can't stop you. I mean, because the players voted, good for you. But the players voted, you're voting on a friend. You're voting on who you like. You're not voting on the most valuable to the team, because he can't be with all that help. There's no way. Even if you didn't even watch video 1, you could see it on this one. And he couldn't be the best player in the league, because he wasn't better than these guys. These guys were all around or two-way players. I'm just saying. So, as we go on, you're going to see, like, to me, if you took at least 3 of these away, MVPs, and then you looked at Bill Russell's resume, he's just another guy that won a whole bunch of championships with his team. The only thing stands out is the 5 MVPs, 4 rebound titles. As we will see, you're the greatest rebounder ever. I done heard that a million times, but he only got 4 rebound titles. Wilt doubled him in rebound titles, and he only won one over Wilt. Well, he won 2, but one of them because Wilt was hurt. Didn't even play but 38 games. And there's other guys throughout the years that won more rebound titles than him. Bill Russell. How is 11 scoring titles? 11 rebound titles, 7 scoring titles, and assist title. Y'all say I'm selfish? Watch this. And we got some numbers that's just staggering with Wilt Chamberlain that you never heard before. We done heard, he put up this many points per game. Wait until you hear these numbers. I think this is going to be on part 4. If you think Wilt's selfish. So if you've seen part 1, if you've seen part 2, this should tell you that Bill Russell ain't no top. He ain't no top 10 player. He just ain't. And Jim at self-research, whatever he thinks. I used to like this guy's channel, man, and then he became like biased. Because he tries to tell stories with stats only. Only with stats. That's how he likes to do it. And then when he kept pooping on Wilt, I was like, what's wrong with this guy? And then he put Bill Russell at number 2. And then he did something about the other day. He said, what did you do when you had an all-NBA teammate? How many championships did you win those years? So, of course, Michael Jordan was number 1. Bill Russell was number 2. But the idea, he was just saying with the all-NBA teammate. He didn't say that Bill Russell was playing with 2 at a time for like 8 straight years. And on his team, it was 3 at a time for like 7 straight years. What is he talking about? And Bill Russell was like the 4th option on scoring. And at least 3 guys, you could say 4, were either all-around players or two-way players. Something that he never was, folks. So, we did a little bit of background on both of them. Bill Russell, we tracked all the way back in the mid-1800s. And his people was on the census. They wasn't slaves. If you're on the census, you already know you ain't gonna be no slave. Unless you was on the slave, somebody else's census that was enslaving you. That's the only way. But no, his people on his father's side was not slaves. And then we go to Bill Russell. That was Bill Russell. We go to Wilt Chamberlain. We tracked his people all the way down to 1820 on his father's side. And they come from Jamaica. Yep, they come from Jamaica. So his father's side is Jamaican. His father's side is Jamaican. So that's basically it for this video. Until next time, we're gonna come out with part 3, and it's basically gonna debunk, that Wilt Chamberlain melted down, that Wilt Chamberlain got dominated by Russell. We're gonna debunk all that, folks. It's gonna look real bad for the Bill Russell fans. And like I said, you take away these MVPs, which whatever, I ain't trying to say you gotta take away from all of them, but he didn't deserve all of them. You just his resume is just a whole bunch of championships that he played with. That he won with the most stacked help of all time. Most stacked help of all time, and it's not even close. Again, triple the second. We talking about LeBron James had a lot of help. No, not even close. Whoever you want to say had a lot of help, Bill Russell had triple that. And like we said on part 1, Bill Russell is a modern day, between a Dennis Rodman and Dwight Howard. That's it. Guess you could tell me, oh no, you can't say that. Bill Russell had a different mindset. Okay, he had a different mindset. He might have been a leader, which they wasn't. Whatever. But you guys got to remember, that was a different time back then. It was a different time back then. They didn't have all the stuff that we had in the 90s or when Dwight Howard was playing. None of that. They didn't have that. Bill Russell was just a hardcore Christian. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that was his mindset. Will Chamberlain, yes, he was a Christian, but he was young and he liked to party. He liked to have fun. He could do that and still go to work and do this like it ain't nothing. He was like Michael Jordan, right? Remember Michael Jordan go out golfing, playing cards, smoking cigars, and drinking all night and still come out and win. Just got it like that. So again, as we go on to this, you just can't put Bill Russell on any of these other guys' teams and replace those guys and say, yeah, I'll put him on Will's team in place of Will, or in place of Bob Pettit, in place of Oscar Robertson, and he's going to win. Nope. Not at all. Now, we want to see that leadership in. You ain't got nothing to lead. And that's the story they're trying to tell you of Bill Russell. He made something out of nothing. No, folks. He kept making something out of something. The most stacked help of all time.